Hey everybody, it's Mickie Giacomini, your host of Let's Talk Shop, the show that brings you really great, successful people sharing their stories of success and their tips with people like you. Today, I've got the most interesting guest. We have none other than KSF Photography and Design's Karyn Sarganis Fritz with us today. Very exciting. She is going to share some of the great successes that she has been experiencing over the last few decades and more. So let's go ahead and bring her on. All right. Karyn, how are you?
Hi, Mickie. I am doing great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm so glad that you're here today joining us and sharing all about some of your great new projects and so forth coming up. I know you have some things that you're doing. So, and I want to hear more, and I know our audience does too. But before we dive into that, please let's back up a little bit and please share with us a little bit about how KSF Photography and Design came to be.
Okay, so I think like most photographers, you start really young. I can remember being in middle school, making absolutely, no money. I was in middle school, and whatever my allowance, birthday money, I would go down to the local store and buy film and processing and flash. Yes, that's old school. And that was how I spent all of my money, and I was just photographing everything all the time. And I always thoroughly enjoyed it, and that's what I wanted to do when I was in college. So I was taking photography classes all the way through, and my friend asked me to do her headshot for a business thing that she had going. She wanted to be a singer, so she wanted a picture for her album, and I photographed it, and I was really pleased at how well it turned out. And she showed her friends, and their friends asked me, and KSF Photography and Design was born. And that was, oh my gosh,
so amazing how
30
people can be so
years ago. Yeah.
Yes, 30 years ago. And you've been doing your passion. You've been able to engage in your passion for all these years. That's so fantastic.
It really is.
I know you've got some stuff going on. Share with us about what your current project is.
Well, after photographing, portraits and commercial and a little bit of football, I have retired from that and am photographing fine art. I am having so much fun. Right now, my latest passion is flowers, and especially macro. I am obsessed with macro photography and just photographing the flowers and any flower that you can think of. I then take it into a program called Painter and turn them into oil paintings. I'll take my mouse like a paintbrush, make it look like an oil painting, and then I put it, I get it printed on fine art paper, tear the edges, float mount it, and then do encaustics with oil pastels and pan pastels and frame it. And that's what I am having so much fun doing right now.
I didn't even pass finger painting, finger painting 101. So that is so impressive to me. And don't you have a print that's just recently released that you're a print project that's going on?
Oh, well, right now I have 5 pieces in a gallery in Benicia, and the gallery is called Arts Benicia, and the show is Insight. It's me and, gosh, I think about 20 other photographers.
Wow.
Just showing all of their fine art images. And then I've got another show coming up at a local bank. It's, I'll take it where I can.
Oh, yeah.
And that'll be for the month of September. And that's what I'm working on, is just doing more art shows and getting into galleries. It's quite a change from being hired to photograph what they want to the art world. And I'm still navigating it, and I'm getting the hang of it, and it's going pretty well so far. It's, I'm enjoying it. I can't complain.
That's fantastic. That's great. And I heard you kind of chuckle about the bank, being featured at a bank. That's a huge deal. That's a lot of people walking in those doors every day that are going to see your art. That's what you want to do.
hope so.
Those of us in the marketing world, we're like, that's a score. You know, that's really great. Well, good job.
Well,
High five.
good. You know, and I've even had my work shown at a flower shop and actually sold a piece. So you just never know where you're going to sell.
Right, exactly. Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I know that you've been doing this for about 30 years or so, and I'm kind of curious. I know you shared me a little bit that some things have changed for you since the emergence of digital photography. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, you know, now that everybody has a camera phone and they have created all these wonderful apps that will help turn an average photograph into an extra average photograph, or whatever you want to call it. You know, and they even have apps for retouching. So, you know, the portrait industry has kind of died down, and there's so many photographers that I know that have closed shop. And I just love photography. I was not ready to give it up. So that's why I turned to the fine art world. And, you know, it's just a different industry.
And it sounds like you're enjoying it too. So it's kind of like a nice.
I really am. It's so relaxing.
Yeah.
I have planted so many flowers in my backyard and front yard. And so when I see the light hitting it just right, or something is in bloom, I grab my camera with my coffee in my pajamas sometimes. And I'll go outside and photograph it for, 10 minutes. And I'll take, oh my gosh, 100 pictures of one flower. And then I get to come in and download it and pick my favorites and then play around with it for a couple of hours in Painter and Photoshop and filters. And it's a blessing. I count
really
my blessings.
is, right?
I really do.
So it may have caused a transition from portrait photography, but at the same time, look at all the great things you're doing. And back in the day, I mean, when we didn't have digital photography and we were buying so much film, and you were so careful about what you took and very selective, right? Because
Oh my
you had to
gosh.
also have all that developing equipment. And I mean, now it's like we're all paparazzi of every little thing.
Oh yes,
So.
it used to cost me $1 a shutter, from the medium format to buying the film and processing and printing. It was like $1.
Ouch! Ouch! Ouch!
Yes.
Now it's not that way anymore.
Yeah. So digital is a blessing. It is. It's a blessing.
Well, I think it's fantastic, and hopefully it will inspire even more of capacity within that art form, so that our youth will be more embracive of being photographers, and we will have continued beautiful art to look at for hundreds and thousands of years. So
I hope so. I do hope so. Yeah.
Well, Karyn, this is that time in the show where we start sharing success tips, and I know you kind of brushed upon one of your favorite business tools, I believe. So can you share about what your favorite business tool is?
Okay, so it's not a new program. It's new for me, and it's called Painter. And it has hundreds of different brushes. And it's a mix between Photoshop and oil painting. And so I'll just take my Wacom tablet and my pen. I don't use a mouse, I use a pen. And I'll just do brush strokes on it to turn them into oil paintings.
That's amazing.
Yes. And then I've been at shows when I could see people come up and they stare and they're looking at my print and they're trying to decide, is it a photograph? Is it a painting? Is it oil? And they can't tell what it is. And they'll ask me, is it an oil painting? And I go, yes, I did it.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
So I know that you are very in tune with being a lifelong learner and that you're always embracing new ways to learn different things. So, you know, a lot of times we talk about favorite books and podcasts and all that kind of stuff, but I know a little bit more about how you like to learn.
Yes.
Your favorite ways. Why don't you go ahead and let the audience know about that?
There's 3 ways that I always learn. So take classes. I'm not the expert in everything, and you can always learn something. So I like to take classes, go to seminars, conventions. YouTube is amazing. You Google it and you can find it. And I've watched quite a few YouTube videos. And then my third favorite thing is I have a wonderful group of artistic friends and mentors, and we will plan play dates and we will get together and we just learn off of each other and just, you know, sit there and play for a couple of hours. And
that's fantastic.
It's so important to have people in your industry to share with.
Yep. Collaboration is key, right?
Photographers are the most giving group that I know of. I mean, I've been in this business for 35 years and I have had several great mentors that would have taken me longer to get where I am today if it wasn't for them, for sure. And I like to give it back too. I also, you know, mentor people. It's been a while,
what would be your best advice that you would give somebody who's breaking into the business?
Find your mentor, which I kind of already hit on. And be true and be honest to yourself. I think people can tell when you're not being authentic.
Right.
And I want to have a good night's sleep. So, you know, I'm always honest. And I'll give you my opinion. And it'll be an honest opinion. And I talked clients out of buying certain pictures because I'll say, you know what, that's a snapshot or that's not a portrait.
Right.
You know, and that's why I've had lifelong clients too. Some of my clients I've had for 30 something years. They've been with me from the beginning and they're awesome.
Clients are often attracted to integrity, right?
Yes.
So that's a great success tip right there. Thank you so much, Karyn, for being on the show.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. And I know that our audience does too. So let's go ahead and wrap for today. Hey, if you are somebody who's interested in being on Let's Talk Shop, make sure you contact us today at info.dragonflyranch@gmail.com. Thanks again, Karyn.
Thank you so much. This was fun.
We post your information on with the video so people can contact you.
Great day.
Take care.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.